The Wrestling Fray. The Fray 5 with Jay Brown.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Jay Brown. Welcome to another Fray 5 within the Wrestling Fray. Yes, I saw the good news from Jimmy a couple days ago with his video that got over 200 views, and a little milestone of my own. Fray 5 never really got more than 50 something, but the last one I did on the video game thing definitely got over 100, so thank you guys for that. Alright, so tonight's subject on the Fray 5. Now, we've seen botches, we've seen firings, we've seen kind of bickering and all that stuff, but one thing I want to touch on, I don't think we've seen too much recently, is receipts. Now, tonight is top 5 most notable receipts.
Oh my Jesus!
What happened?
She slapped her, like a for real slap.
No, it was a receipt.
It's like a slap.
It's called a receipt. You botch a move, you get a receipt.
And I can tell you firsthand, yes, receipts are well known in wrestling, especially in WWE, but in MMA as well. Because I remember when I was in MMA, I was sparring with this one guy, and my kick was a little too low, kicked him right in the nuts. Dude was in pain for a few minutes. As soon as our coach restarted the match or whatever, dude gave me a right hook that nearly knocked me the F out. And I couldn't be mad, because if I was him, I would have did the exact same thing. So, anyway, number 5. There are many situations with Bob Holly concerning receipts. However, I only put one on this list because this is by far the worst one. So, I believe Rene Dupree, he was young, just starting, and he was driving a rental car which was in Bob Holly's name, and apparently he got a ticket. So he didn't tell Holly about the ticket, and I guess Holly had to go to court and had to get dismissed and all that stuff. So now, did he ask Rene to pay him back? Did he go to management? You know, any of that? Nope. No, he did not. Rene offered to pay him back, but apparently that wasn't good enough. So they were fighting at a house show, and it was taken into account that Bob Holly punched him, kicked him, bashed him in the head with a steel chair to the point that the chair bent. And it was so bad, Rene Dupree was running to the back and Holly was chasing after him. And surprisingly, Holly got a slap on the wrist for this. Now, this was a little excessive for a receipt. And I'm surprised he got a slap on the wrist, because if that happens in the WWE nowadays, he probably would have been gone. Future endeavor did. Anyway, number 4. Now, even though this was a house show, this actually went viral on YouTube, well, nowadays. But it was Perry Saturn versus Mike Bell. Now, Mike Bell, I forgot what movie it was. I believe it was an arm drag. And the arm drag actually caused Saturn to land on his head one time too many. And it got to the point where he started getting real stiff with Mike Bell. And he was punching him real hard. He actually threw him out of the ring and all of that. Like, when you actually look at the video, you're like, oh man, he was really going in on that guy. And for those of you who was watching wrestling around the turn of the century, this is what led to the brain damage / moppy gimmick that would unfortunately plague the last part of Perry Saturn's career in the WWE. And rightfully so, Perry Saturn was regretful for the way he acted upon this. But sometimes receipts can be very excessive. Anyway, Number 3. So this is one of those situations where it's a receipt, not for something that happened to you, but something that happened to somebody else. Another thing that happened in the wrestling world is when Brie Bella inadvertently kicked Liv Morgan in the face, knocking her out. And after they got Liv out of the match, it was a spot with Brie Bella and Ruby Riot. Now, I believe Ruby Riot was supposed, one of them was supposed to get a slingshot into an elbow, but instead, Ruby Riot hit Brie Bella square in the chest. No regrets whatsoever, and yes, it was a stiff shot. I remember that situation, and if you ask me, I think Brie got off easy on that one. Anyway, number 2. A more recent submission on here is Braun Strowman versus Brock Lesnar. Of course, there are more folks in the match, but what happened, Braun gave Lesnar a knee, and the knee actually hit Lesnar legitimately to the point, I guess he blurted out some type of obscenity and punched Braun right in the head. I mean, trust me, I've seen the video over and over again, and I was like, dude. Well, one thing I learned from that, Braun can take a hit, but this is one of the situations where he knew it was deserved, so there was no heat about it. I believe what I heard after the match in the back, they talked about it, and that was it. Some people even say they laughed it off. I don't know about all that, but everybody definitely knows about this one. Before we get to number 1, we have a bonus. Now, this is one I did not know about. I actually heard about this one. It was between Stone Cold and Booker T. Apparently one time, I don't even know if it was a house show or an actual match. I don't remember the situation, so it's probably a house show where Booker T actually did a stiff shot on Austin, nearly busting his lip to the point he was like, oh man, I ain't need to do that. So I believe the receipt came in the form of Austin had Booker T on the ground and basically stomped him right on the nose, like for real. And this is another situation where the receiver of the receipt knew it was deserved, so Booker wasn't even mad about it. If anything, he said he would have did the same thing. All right, and number 1. Of course, number 1 would have taken place in the Attitude Era. This was between Ken Shamrock and Vader. So everybody knows how stiff Vader works, like on purpose. So Ken Shamrock, who, even though he was a wrestler, he was still green in the WWE ring, and he came from the world of MMA. So as he was giving his shots to Vader, he was sinking them in deeply, and they were real stiff. It got to the point where I believe he bruised Vader's legs and broke his nose. And during this whole match, Vader was telling him to ease up. Shamrock wouldn't. And in my opinion, he messed with the wrong one, because Vader knocked his ass out with a strong lariat. Yeah, so I don't want to take a lariat from Vader. God rest his soul. But yeah, that is my, well, I guess you could say top 6 receipts. And also, I want to also point out, I think we reached another milestone. Looks like we reached our 15th subscriber. Like I said, any milestone is important. You guys have been watching me for a while. You know I went through with Fray for All, so to be able to continue to entertain is a treat for me. You guys have a good night, and please like, comment, subscribe. And I'm gonna ask one thing: if you dislike, comment. Like I said, we're all about discussion. All right, yeah, have a blessed day, and please stay safe out there, guys. All right.